Here we are talking about artificial intelligence again. We have natural intelligence.
Natural, organic.
It's not artificial.
Organic.
I am with noted criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve, and we're looking over the Chat GPT response to should I carry a gun? So, folks, if you don't know what this Chat GPT stuff is, it's artificial intelligence that will answer your questions, write your kids' homeworks, cook your meals, do whatever it is that you want it to do, because this is now the Jetsons, and we don't have to do anything anymore. But what we're finding out is not only is Chat GPT wrong a lot, but imagine this, Tom, it's anti-gun.
And what were the odds?
It might even be anti-Republican, as people were looking at it to do some other things. But this is a gun channel. So we're talking about firearms. And if you ask ChatGPT, guns make you safer, the response is myth. This claim is based on the notion that having a gun in the home will deter or prevent violent crime. However, studies have shown that the presence of a gun in the home actually increases the risk of firearms-related deaths, including homicide, suicide, and unintentional death. Research suggests, notice the research is not cited anywhere, that the availability of a firearm in the home increases the risk of firearm-related incidents, and owning a gun does not necessarily make a person safer. Not a word about firearms training or safety or the fact that you have a constitutionally protected right to protect yourself, and there are millions of incidents each year.
Of successfully using firearms in self-defense.
Using firearms in self-defense.
And that's per the Center for Disease Control in a study that's about 10 years old now.
Yeah, and I've noticed, too, that there are stories out there about the FBI suppressing that information, not providing information, or the CDC not providing information to the FBI, something like that. People aren't telling us that guns save lives, and ChatGPT is certainly not telling us that. So, in your estimation, should people be using this for effective research, legal advice, and self-defense advice?
No. I mean, look, so we were talking about this a little bit before we went live, so to speak. But, you know, the internet is, for all intents and purposes, it's a data set. It's for all intents and purposes, almost infinite data set. Almost. I mean, it isn't. But the point is if you were to sit down and try to read everything, you can't. You can't. There's more being created in every moment than you can probably read.
Hence the need for search engines and things like this.
So the question when it comes to AI isn't, can it just scroll through everything? Because the answer is, it can cover a lot of territory. But someone has to tell it, here's the values that we're assigning to this language and this information versus that information. Someone has to create, in essence, bias and prejudice, because that's what you're doing. If you're saying this information is more important than that information, that is you're prejudicing this information over that information. You're biasing this information over that information. So that's where the human bias and prejudice, and perhaps the political one, as the case may be, comes into this. And there's always going to be that element. I mean, just there is. I mean, obviously, I don't have to tell you. Try reading the news without detecting, any kind of political slant, spin, lens, angle, whatever you want to call it, and it's semi-impossible. It doesn't matter if you're looking from the right, the left, the whatever. And it's unfortunate, though predictable, that we would see that.
And what gets me is that people are pushing this out as machine learning, that this is the truth. It's just a machine without any biases or knowledge or anything, and that's not it. So here's one that, the only way, this is how ChatGPT responds to, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And again, it responds myth. The assertion is made that proponents of carrying a concealed weapon as a means of self-defense. However, the reality is that the presence of a firearm in a potentially violent situation can escalate the situation and increase the risk of harm. Research has shown, and again, not citing any research, civilians are unlikely to effectively intervene in an active shooter situation and more likely to accidentally harm innocent bystanders. Patently false, and we've seen it time and time again. This is really starting to grate on me that people are using this as a means to do their research papers and put out what they deem as accurate information, and it's just not.
This is a perfect example of if you just repeat it often enough, people will start to accept it as true. Yeah. And because let's face it, doing this is low effort.
Yep.
It's easy. As long as you can log in, which I understand is increasingly difficult these days, but as long as you can log in and feed it questions, it's a low effort way of getting answers. Not information and the truth, but answers.
Answers.
It is high effort to go through and actually do your own research, comb through studies, download PDFs, and I can imagine, people are going to freak out about that. Well, but I can get answers this way. I can write my 500 words, my 1,000-word essay. I can turn this into the teacher, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it takes 2 minutes to do this, if that, right? Maybe a half hour to repackage this and to kind of put it in your own voice, as opposed to the hours that it may take you to actually go out there, access the real information, the real data sets, and see, about 10 years ago, President Obama commissioned a study for the Center for Disease Control to research how effective firearms are in self-defense. The study cited different studies, but the CDC said, look, there could be a range of 500,000 to 3 million self-defense uses of firearms every single year. The FBI says that if you pull out a firearm in self-defense, it's about a 90% chance, give or take, that the bad guy is going to turn tail and run.
Yeah.
How about that? Those would be kind of relevant factoids to include in here, right?
Yeah, that we would put together there. So before we move on to the next one, folks, I'll remind you, we have a super secret giveaway going on. I can't even say the words. It's happening right now. It's absolutely free, and it ends really soon. All you got to do is click the link in the description down below to find out what this super secret giveaway is, and I'll give you a hint. You probably got to fill out a Form 4473 to get it, and it will fit in a holster. So click that link and learn about what we're giving away down there. Here's the one that really kind of rubs me the wrong way. The police can't protect you, so you need to protect yourself. And again, ChatGPT says it's a myth. This idea is based on the notion that individuals need to take personal responsibility for their own safety. It's the notion that your safety is your own responsibility. I think that's an absolute fact. I don't even want to continue. So
apparently ChatGPT is really good at reading political websites, the Brady campaign, that kind of stuff. Really bad about reading every single legal decision I'm aware of on point, which has 100% unequivocally stated officers have no duty to lay down their life to protect you. If they choose to do that, that's okay.
Yeah, but ChatGPT says right here, however, the police have a duty to protect the public and are trained to handle violent crime. The latter might be true. Yes, we were trained to get involved and handle violent crime, but the Supreme Court says that the police do not have the duty to protect you. We can't sue the police if they failed to protect us.
We actually have a video, short plug, a video coming out on exactly this point on my own channel if you look us up, Attorney Tom Grieve. So, but yeah, this is absolutely true, and this is absolutely false what they're saying here. I mean, 100% false.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we talked about before. There is no doubt in my mind that this AI software has crawled these court cases. The question is, why is it discarding that in favor of the Brady campaign website?
Right. And we wrap this up with the final lines right here. Additionally, research, uncited research, has shown that individuals who carry firearms are unlikely to effectively use them in self-defense situations. Wait a minute. Police carry firearms. Are they unlikely to effectively use them? Police are individuals.
Police are superhumans. I mean,
And are more likely to be injured or killed by their own weapon. I don't think that's true either. If we were having, 35,000 firearms-related deaths in the country, and the vast majority of those are suicides, but when we're talking about a self-defense incident, I'm not hearing thousands and thousands of cases of people losing their gun in the battle, in the self-defense fight.
So this is real simple math, which apparently the AI cannot do.
Yeah.
But Kevin, let's help him out.
Yes.
Okay. Let's use our organic brains. Let's go there. All right. Simple math for the AI. All right. There are, as you cited, something like that. On average, there's approximately 10,000 related firearm homicides in the country every single year.
Yep.
Okay, so 10,000, all right? Sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 11. Let's just go with 10, fine. We know per the CDC study that there's between 500,000 to 3 million self-defense uses per year. Let's take the low number, 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Let's go with that. 500,000. So why is the number of firearm-related homicides not, 500,000?
Right, because they're going to take the guns and use it to kill us.
The data, let's just call this whole chat GPT thing when it comes to firearms at a minimum myth.
Yes, and I don't even want to call it data.
It's not data. You're right. No, this is political satire is what this is.
I didn't want to say it, but you did. I think that the answers driven by these AI bots, we will call them, are rooted in anti-gun politics. And that's as you said, somebody has to put weight to the information that the internet is searching. That weight is weighted on the anti-gun side, and we should not believe anything that ChatGPT tells us.
It's someday, my suspicion as to where this is all going, and I'll just go on the record here, because this is a safe space.
Absolutely. I'm here for you, Tom.
Thank you. I think we're going to see the same fragmentation with all these AI chatbots, which absolutely are going to figure in so many unimaginable ways into our future. Mm-hmm. But we're going to see a similar fragmentation that we've seen with the media, with different companies and different channels and whatnot, kind of having their own spin, their own lens, and exact same things that happen with AI. Mm-hmm. Because again, you have the fundamental problem of someone has to code and prejudice certain information as being more relevant versus less relevant. Yep. And we see this already with the media. This is the exact same thing. Yeah. If you go to certain stations, they're going to give you these answers. Yep. If you go to certain other stations, they're going to give you answers more along the lines of what we're talking about.
Yeah, the loss of objectivity just means we don't know who to believe.
Right.
And it makes it more and more difficult. Well, thanks again for such great insight, Tom. This is, I don't know if I would call it fun. This is disturbing.
Scary.
Yeah,
this is like Skynet sort of thing.
But this is the kind of stuff that we need to talk about because it's happening right before our very eyes. So thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, Kevin.